welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Lori.
We are talking about The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, the Hulu reality docu-series. I don't know what we're calling it, but it is, the first episode is called The First Book of Taylor, because we find out that the creator of this mom talk is Taylor Frankie Paul, and she was a social media influencer, and she started this thing called Mom Talk.
Now, had you guys ever heard of this before, by the way?
No.
I had not.
Me neither.
I had not.
And I feel like we're on TikTok a lot.
Yeah.
We are.
Never saw them.
No. Wasn't in our algorithm.
It was not in the algorithm.
No. But
they're all unbelievably gorgeous, though.
Yes. They are.
There's a lot going on there, though. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
So we start out where we, like I said, we meet Taylor Frankie Paul. I don't know why she has 3 names.
I don't know. But we find out that they have a lot of rules to follow, which we kind of knew about the Mormons, that they have rules. No swearing, no tattoos, no alcohol. Their body is a temple. They're not allowed to have sex before marriage. They're expected to have children before age 21, but I've heard a couple people say that that is not exactly true.
Well, I've heard people say that a lot of what they said is doctrine is not true.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of issue, and we can kind of talk about it maybe towards the end with what is Mormon church doctrine and what is Mormon culture. So there's a lot of kind of crossover. So this series is about, do all these girls have a Mormon background, and they all are married, and they all have they all have children. So like that's the commonality between them. And then, like Wendy said, this Taylor girl started doing some TikToks with some dancing and blah blah blah. And it originally started out with Wendy sent me a really great TikTok I didn't know anything about, and I did a lot of research.
There was only 4 of them to begin with, right?
Well, to
3.
begin with,
there's only 3.
And 3 in 2020, there was 3. And one of the girls is not even in it anymore. That was from the original.
Is that Michaela or Mary?
No,
Nope.
it's Camille.
Because I had here that Whitney, Mary, Michaela, and Taylor started it. But so you did a deeper dive, because that's what they said in the show. They said those 4 started it.
I know, but when we
so they're
saw,
just keeping this girl's name out of it completely.
Well, there were
because
several
she
other
was
girls too.
Yeah, she was supposedly the one that was involved in the swinger scandal with Taylor. Yes, so she chose not to go forward with this mom talk. So they're not mentioning her. Like she kind of bowed out.
Yeah. So I have in 2021. Then they added some girl Jazz and some girl Victoria. And then in the beginning of 2022, there were several more moms. And then when everything shook out, then they got down to Taylor, Whitney, C, and Michaela. And those were the 4 that you're talking about.
Macy, right. I'm sorry. I looked at it and it looked like Mary. Yes, you're right. Macy. Sorry.
There's too many names.
There's a lot of girls. And they all look alike.
Very Stepford wife-ish.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Utah, so it's, fair skin, light hair.
And a lot of extensions.
Yes.
And
A lot of extensions.
Yeah, I'm just going to say right now, Jess so far is my favorite. She's a hairdresser. She's got the look I love. I love her hair. I'm all about Jess.
A lot of extensions.
Oh, I like that you have a favorite. I like that you have a favorite already.
And we haven't even heard that much from her, but she's definitely my fave.
Okay, good. I don't have a favorite yet. I don't know enough about them. But
I will say this. I like all of them. Because I've been seeing things on social media about Whitney and Taylor, who clearly are going to be the breakouts of the show. Neither one of them really bother me. I like both of them. I like all of them so far.
Yeah.
If anybody cares.
Okay. Well, I think we care.
Kelly, you always like everybody anyway, so.
I do, but you know how I feel about Jersey, and I have my strong
Oh my God.
opinions, and I'm just saying I get strong opinions about people. Thus far, episode 1, no strong opinions.
There you go.
So they started doing the TikToks, and it kind of blew up overnight. Like all of a sudden they had 60,000 followers.
This was during COVID, right? Everybody's
And,
home.
and then all of a sudden 2 million of all the moms, and then all of a sudden from 60,000 followers to 2 million, like overnight, like
Wow.
out of nowhere, which is crazy.
Crazy.
So then they started, once it became so big, these girls were out there, besides doing the TikToks, they were partying together because they had this TikTok house, which is like an influencer house that they didn't live in. They just went there to make content, which is so cool.
They must have been making bank if they can just rent a house to make content.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you imagine being a young mom and having someplace you can go run away to like that? That's freaking awesome, man.
I'm an
That's
old
awesome.
mom, and I would like someplace to run to.
To run away to.
I just want a room. Just give me
Yeah.
a room.
Just one
Yeah,
room.
with a
Yeah.
door and a lock.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That no
And
one
a
can come in.
and a bar and a
And a bar.
liquor bar.
Yeah.
Or,
So,
Or a
or
bottle. Or a
just
bottle.
a bottle of tequila. Exactly.
And a
I
cup.
need a bar.
yeah, we're easy.
I'm
We're
all
easy.
set.
We're
Good.
cheap. Babe.
simple. We are simple.
It's very simple.
So the women made videos about dance trends, beauty routines, and their lives as Mormon mothers. And
Yeah.
then the group expanded to include some girl, Jennifer, Demi, Jesse, and Layla. I don't even think we get to meet them yet from the first episode, but that's how it ends up. That's the cast that ends up being.
So we kind of find out early in episode 1 that what really the big controversy about this is that one of the Mom Talk moms on Reddit started putting out that they were swinging going on at these parties. And this is when they already had 2 million followers. And Taylor took it upon herself to go live on TikTok and kind of out herself and her husband that they had broken up because of the swinging, because they had rules for their what was it, soft swinging.
Yeah.
And she caught feelings for one of the other husbands.
Well,
who
she
really knows what she did?
broke the agreement. She broke the agreement. She broke the agreement because the agreement was they were supposed to do it in front of each other. It was supposed to be, they were supposed to know about it. And she admits,
weird.
Yeah, that she's the one who broke the rules, and her husband were getting divorced. Now, at this point, they'd already had 2 children. And the other mom talkers were like, why are you outing us? Like, this isn't cool.
Right.
And so they kind of, for a couple months, they stopped talking to Taylor. And one of them, Whitney, her and her husband, they moved to Hawaii. And she said it was because, what Taylor did, but we'll find out later in the episode that's not really the case.
Exactly.
So right now there's Whitney, Jen, Jesse, Layla, Demi, Macy, and Taylor. Taylor's 28 years old, and she's the one who created it. She's the one who we see talking in the very beginning in her pink dress, kind of like a confessional. She gave me the Barbie. Yes, in the confessional. She gave me that Barbie vibe with that pink dress.
It wasn't flattering. I mean, listen, it would be hard to make her not look gorgeous, but I don't know. It looked like a Forever 21 pic.
Yeah. So then Taylor tells us that she got married right out of high school. Her mom pressured her into it because she knew she was having sex with Tate, which was her ex-husband, and she's now divorced. But since the swinging scandal, Taylor hasn't seen the girls in months. And we find out, a little bit later on in the episode that she has a new boyfriend, and she's only been divorced 1 month at the time. She's been out of her relationship with her husband for 3 to 4 months. And we're going to meet also Taylor's mom, which I think is a big part of, I think a lot of these moms are a big part of the story. The only mom we've met so far, though, is Taylor's mom. So we're going to have to wait and see kind of what happens.
Yeah, and she's not loving this new guy. But, I get the impression from that scene with she and her mother that she was just that kid who was difficult.
She just
and she caused issues in the family, and it's always been Taylor causing the issues.
Yeah.
It's in she has 2, well, at this time now. Presently, she has 3 children, but
Right.
she had 2 children with her first husband, and their names are Indy and Ocean. How you like
Cute.
that?
But could you imagine your kid being 28 years old and coming to your house and telling you that she might be pregnant with her boyfriend's baby and she's only been divorced for a month and has 2 other kids? Like
No.
her mother, her mother reacted exactly how I would. I would have had to get up and walk away because there's a film crew in your backyard and you want to just go all in on her
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
And I would have had to walk away. And I hope I would have, because I don't know if I would have.
Well, I mean, her mom did get some harsh words out. And not that I think her mom is wrong. I don't think she's wrong.
No, she's not wrong.
No,
Are you
not at
kidding
all.
me? You're fucking 28 years old,
Right.
divorced for a month. You got 2 other kids who are going to now have to navigate through divorced parents. Wear a fucking condom and take the pill, for crying out loud.
Do
Right.
something.
Do something. Be smart.
Right. Yeah. I mean, her mom says to her at that, well, she's out there before she even lets it known that she may be pregnant. Did you talk to the bishop yet? And she's like, well, no, I didn't talk to the bishop yet because I'm afraid I'm going to be excommunicated.
Did she think that just because she was getting divorced, she was going to be excommunicated?
Well, I think maybe because the whole swinger thing came up, right? And the whole world knew about it.
Yeah. Sorry. This episode was a little confusing. There was a lot to focus on. There were a lot of people to learn.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, there was.
And they all look alike. Have we said that yet? They all look alike.
Yes.
Yeah. So when Taylor does go over to her mom's house, she also is going over there because she wants her mom to watch her kids because she has a date tonight with Dakota, who's the new boyfriend.
Yes.
And
the Instagram.
Yeah. Slid into the DMs.
Yes. And her mom says, and even Taylor admits that he kind of has a sketchy past, that, he has addiction issues and he overdosed on fentanyl. Yeah.
Yes.
Which we all know is serious.
He's a recovering addict.
Yeah.
Which God bless him, though. God bless him, because we do see in the episode that he is prioritizing his sobriety over a relationship with her. So
yeah.
And at first I'm like, is he with her for clout? Because she's like a big TikToker.
Maybe.
But when he made those comments, I was like, okay, so at least he's prioritizing, in his best interest.
But is he? Or is he just
I don't know, because are they still
playing the
together
game?
and have a baby?
They have a baby. But I always question things like that, because if you're really going to take your sobriety seriously, it's about you. It's not about what other people do. So you telling other people what they can and cannot do, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like really necessarily authentic to me.
I agree with you, but he could be so early on in his sobriety where he feels like, I can't, you get to, obviously we all have friends and family members who are in recovery and they're at a place in their lives where they can be around people who are drinking or smoking weed or whatever they're doing. But when you're early on in your sobriety, it's got to be very difficult. I don't know, I respect all of them for their journey, but it's got to be very difficult in the beginning, especially if that's your partner. Like,
right.
You go out to dinner, like, and she seems like she likes to party. Let's face it.
Yes.
Well, she says it. She actually says it. She says, I like to party. And why do I wind up with people who can't or won't party? I mean, she does
hang out with Mormons who aren't supposed to drink.
Right.
There you go.
I mean, and I could actually relate to her mom when her mom said to her, like, you don't make good choices. And at the end of the day, you have 2 kids to worry about. And when you make these bad choices, it falls on your father and I, because we're the ones here picking up the pieces.
That's what I meant, where she was always that kid.
Right. No, I get it.
Because the parents are like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Yeah. Like, when is the cycle going to stop?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, the fact that.
Yeah.
The fact that she goes over there and she says, I think I might be pregnant. Well, don't you think you'd take the test before you got over there? Like, what if you're not? You're going to cause this havoc for nothing?
You want to hear something funny? I saw her. I just saw a clip. I didn't listen to it. She was on Lala's podcast. She said, "Do you know that I was actually approached to do Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and they told me that there was not enough drama in my life to be on the show."
That was on
And
Sheena's.
Lala bust out laughing. I'm like, "That's hysterical."
She said that on Sheena's too, because I was.
I'm sorry.
Sheena.
You're correct.
It was Sheena.
Sorry.
Yeah. I did hear that on Sheena's. Yeah.
And so funny.
Yeah, not enough drama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that they've already said that they do know Monica from Utah, from Salt Lake.
I saw a clip of Monica because people must have been DMing her saying she should be on that. And she was like, "I don't think so," like totally shading them. And I thought, bitch, you're not doing anything right now. So you would have been lucky to be on that. Maybe you wouldn't gotten kicked off after one season if you did do that show and not the other one.
Yeah.
She was like shading them hard. I'm like, what are you doing?
That's interesting.
You're unemployed.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little bit about Taylor. I mean, then we get to meet Macy.
Oh, okay.
Macy is 27 years old. She grew up in Orange County, California, and she's been married 5 years to her husband, Jacob Neely. They have 2 kids. Excited to get back together and start things up again. And she said she feels like her husband, Jacob, really never initiates sex.
Okay.
Which that's a lot to put out there on your first episode about your husband.
It sure is.
And really,
but I did hear.
We don't.
We don't need to know that. We don't need to know that. But I did hear, and I think it was on Sheena's podcast that. So this actual episode that we're watching was actually filmed almost 2 years ago, because
I heard that too.
Maybe you heard it from me, though.
I probably did.
I think I told you that. Yes.
I believe.
And I heard it. I think I heard it on Sheena's podcast, because what happened was, as we see, we're going to have to jump to this at this point. As we see at the end of the episode, Taylor gets arrested for domestic violence.
Yeah.
And once that happened, they had to stop filming, unlike other Bravo shows and Housewives where they want to film all that stuff.
They keep the cameras rolling. This
show stopped filming until that was all settled. So what we're seeing right now is old news. Mm-hmm. It's all old news.
So wait, Macy isn't the one. All right, I'll wait because
I wrote down that she's blonde, but I wrote down a couple of them are blonde. So
I think I know who Macy is. I think I remember who Macy is. She's the one that sat down with Taylor for lunch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I have things to say about Michaela.
So okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah, this Macy has one child with this husband, Jacob, and one child from her former relationship with her partner, Eric, who tragically died in a car accident before the baby's birth in 2015. Yes.
Oh, that's awful.
Not awful.
Yeah, that is awful.
And she has
that is awful.
She has tagged herself as the bad bitch. So I like that.
Well, listen, to overcome that, and I can understand. My poor nephew passed away 6 weeks before his son was born, so that is a bad bitch who can, like bitch. Kai's mother, Brittany, is a bad bitch because she did it. Struggled, but she did it. She did it, and she's continuing to do so. So
right. And then the next one we get to meet is Whitney, and she is also a blonde at this point, and she's part of the OG Mom Talk. And she's the one who moved to Hawaii. And now
with her husband, who's clearly in the witness protection plan with that hair and mustache.
I know. Yeah. But then when we see him again, it's all gone, which is what makes it so hard to follow this damn show.
And then when he admitted to the Tinder thing, I'm like, oh my God, he really was like trying to disguise himself. That's fucking hysterical. The blonde hair on top with the dark porn mustache. I'm like, what are you doing? You're bringing more attention to yourself with that ridiculous look.
I know. It was bad.
That was bad.
It was bad. I agree. So then they bought that house in Utah sight unseen, and we see them like pulling up to the house, and then we see them come in, and the champagne's on the counter because their realtor left it for them, and she's like, I've never drank before. Have you ever drank alcohol before? And they take a sip of it, and she like spits it out, and she's throwing. I'm like, all right, come on. Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
come hang
stop
out
it.
with us for a week, Whitney. You'll
Yeah.
love alcohol
Yeah.
by the end of the week.
I think it was just a little extreme.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
introduce
get
you
you
to
over
the
that.
shambong. We'll introduce you to the shambong. You'll have it all going
That's
on.
it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what they need. They need the
Yeah, they
shambong.
need some shambong.
I don't know if I believe that neither one of them before that episode had
No.
tried liquor. It's so stupid. Stop it.
It was a little over dramatized.
Well,
I
the
think
whole
so
thing
too.
is over dramatized.
Yeah.
So then the next one we meet is Jessie, and Jessie's 30 years old, and she's the one with the hair company. And she's a hairstylist. She has the hair extensions, a hair salon, and her company is called Jay-Z Hair. And she's got the billboard, and people are calling it Jizz.
Yes.
That was funny.
It was funny.
So she's 32 and married to Jordan for 4 years, and they have
So
3
now she's
children.
32. So
Yes.
at the time she was 30. Like, so
Yeah.
that's what I said. It was 2
Yeah.
years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the next one we meet is Jen, and she is 24 at the time. And she says she was there at the parties, but not a part of the swinging group and didn't know anything about it.
So she's the one that said that, not Demi.
No. So then Demi we meet, Demi Angeman. She's 29 years old, and her husband, Brett, they said to him at the parties, like, do you like to share? And he's like, no. And she announces that they will absolutely not be sharing. And Brett is 46 and she is 29.
I heard her say something about an age difference. It was that, well,
Yes.
what is that,
was
17 years?
That's a big
16
age
years.
difference.
Well,
That's
it's
a big difference.
It's interesting because it is a big age difference, especially, I mean, maybe, I don't know enough about the Mormon church, but it does seem like they promote young marriage, like young girl, young man.
Yeah.
But
So listen.
then I think about Whitney on Salt Lake City and Justin. I mean, she's his second wife. I wonder if
Right.
Demi we're talking about, correct?
Yes.
I
Yes.
wonder if she's his second
Why
wife.
is it Demi or Demi?
I think she said Demi because I know it can be
Demi?
pronounced both ways. I think she said Demi. But
Okay.
maybe she is his second wife.
Well, let me tell you. So they first met when she was 9 years old and he was 25. Because
What?
they kind of knew each other. So Brett was previously married to Angie Harrington from Real Housewives of Salt Lake.
That's right. So she
And-
is the second wife, and she's Angie H's. Yeah. That's right.
So Demi was previously married to this guy, Blake Corbin, and they had a kid named Maud together, a daughter. So while they were married, Demi and Blake run into Brett, who now at this point is single. And Demi and Blake suggest Brett for the show The Bachelorette, which he was cast for, and then it was delayed due to COVID. So when they met and they were still married, and Brett was single, they met because they wanted their daughter Maud to do some modeling, and Brett was talking to him about that. So then when Demi saw online Brett posting things in regards to the Bachelorette that was, delayed, she reached out to him, and at this point he was single and blah blah blah, and they started talking back and forth. So that's how that went.
So she left her husband for him.
No.
No, they were.
I had
divorced.
heard her. Yeah, I had heard her talk about it on a podcast, and she had said that they are the ones who talked him into doing the Bachelor, and
Yes.
he took down all of his social media like they have to do, and then all of a sudden she saw that he had posted something, and he should have been away, but. So then that's when she reached out to him and said, well, what happened? And that was because of COVID, and they sent everybody home. So that's when they reconnected.
Okay.
Yes.
But she also does go on to say that the last party that she went to with Taylor was flirting with her husband, Brett.
Yeah. I have that written down. Yeah.
Excuse me, but I think I would flirt with Brett.
I mean, a couple of them, Sans Connor, are very cute.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. Listen, I'm not loving Dakota, though, either, to be honest with you.
No, me neither.
I'm not loving Dakota.
Not loving him. So that Jennifer Affleck, the one who's 24 and married to Zach for 4 years and has 2 kids, She is like, her husband's like the second cousin of Ben Affleck.
Right.
But she's
Which, by
never
the
met
way,
him.
she's never met him.
Never met him.
Never met him. And every time her name comes up on screen, they say Jen Affleck. And
I
they don't
didn't
put
even
anyone
notice
else's.
that
They don't put anybody else's last name.
name on there, and she's never met him. So who cares?
Well, they're trying to
Put it
jump on
on
that
there.
bandwagon. Yeah.
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 They're
So
trying.
stupid.
What else do I have?
We met Michaela. I liked Michaela. She looks like she got married at 17. She's
So
23. She's been married for 6 years. She looks like Leighton Meester Blair from Gossip Girl.
mm-hmm.
She reminds me of her. And she has that skin condition.
Yeah, so she was 16 when she met her husband, and
Yeah.
he was 21. And, you know, there's a lot of people talking about that. Her mother was a prominent person in the Mormon church, and her mother, what they're saying is made her marry him.
Well, she got pregnant, I think.
Well, yes, but she was 16 and he was 21. And in most places, that's statutory
Illegal.
rape. Yeah.
Right. But they've been married for 6 years and they have 3 kids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, listen, and I think I also wrote down she's another blonde. I agree. I think she's a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
She said that she has this chronic skin condition, but they don't know what it is.
Yeah, she's done a hair test. She's been to all kinds of doctors.
Yeah.
That's, it's scary.
It is scary.
she did say that she did have her breast implants removed. And, that's a real thing. You can get really sick from them. So
Yeah.
that could
Yeah, if
be
your body
part of what
rejects
her-
them, I guess.
Yeah, that could
Yeah.
be part of what her problem is.
Yeah.
I know that, what's her name? Yolanda from Beverly Hills. She had hers removed too, because she had all those problems with the Lyme's disease and autoimmune disorders. And once she had hers removed, it really improved her health as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's what her deal is.
Yeah, it definitely could be. It definitely could be.
So I have
So then
down,
what else do
I have Whitney, Taylor, and Michaela meet for lunch, and Michaela confronts Taylor about the social media posts. And Taylor kind of blows it off a little bit, doesn't necessarily really apologize.
But I kind of agree with her, because then so Whitney and Michaela were making posts of their own, making jokes about it. So
making
it's
jokes
like
about what?
being part of the swinging group. Yeah. So if you're gonna post things and make light of it, like say you're part of a soft swinging group. Oh, when everyone in your neighborhood thinks you're part of the soft swinging group or something like that. They were making like funny videos about it. So, and that blew up their TikToks. So don't be mad at her for doing the original one when you're piggybacking off of it and monetizing it.
Well, right. And I think what they were saying about it is that they felt like they had to do something because she already blew it up. So
Okay.
And and the other thing about them is that these women were the breadwinners of their family.
For sure.
With the TikTok. So they needed to keep making the bank because they were feeding their family. They all had kids and husbands that, were relying on them.
Right.
And then Michaela, Demi, Taylor, and Whitney are at Macy's house. God bless you. And Whitney confesses that Connor is struggling with a porn addiction and states that he never really met up with anybody.
No, that was actually so Whitney called a family meeting with all of them at the Mom Talk house.
Okay.
I thought it was at somebody's house too, quite honestly. I didn't think it was at the Mom Talk house.
No, because she talked to her husband about it, and before she met up with them, she talked to her husband about it, and she said that at her house, she said that she's got to tell them the truth now, and he says, well, I don't want to look like the victim here because I've done horrible things to my wife.
You don't,
and
by
then
the way.
Right? No, you certainly don't.
You don't
and
look
that's
like
when
the victim.
That's when his mustache was gone and he had shaved his head.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're
Thank
all
God.
at the Mom Talk house and they said, listen, Whitney called a family meeting. And then she shows up there and they're all there. And she tells the story that she had been lying to them about what had happened with her and Connor. And the real reason that they went to Hawaii is that he was actually on Tinder. And
so it wasn't because Taylor put that video out on TikTok.
Right. That's what she tells him. And that he, there's more to it, that he has the porn addiction. And then I'm not sure which one of them asked her, well, how long has this been going on? And she says, my entire marriage.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And then they ask her, well, did he meet up with them? Because initially she was saying, and she said no, that's what he told her. But initially she was saying that, they took his Facebook, old Facebook pictures. It wasn't him, when she knew it was him. And she was, trying to cover up for him, which is why they moved to Hawaii, to get away from it. So she did tell them, well, that's why she called them together. And then as soon as she's done telling them, that's when Taylor drops her bomb that she's been pregnant for 4 weeks, or it's an ectopic pregnancy, or she's miscarrying because she's going to the hospital.
Either miscarried or it's an ectopic pregnancy.
Ectopic, yeah.
Either way, she's not having a baby.
Right.
Either way, Whitney and Taylor are dueling for who's the bigger asshole.
For sure. For sure. They want to be the number one girl in the group, both of them.
Yeah.
And it looks, with the coming attractions, it looks as if they really start dueling for this and the other girls pick sides.
Yeah, it does look like that. It definitely looks like that. The other thing is, I will say that I did hear that, although what is surprising to me is that they're all using Reddit as their sources. I think Reddit is the sleaziest of all sleazy sources for information.
None of it's good. None of it's good.
So supposedly all over Reddit was that it actually wasn't Tinder that he was on. It was actually Grindr.
Ew.
Which is a whole other can of worms.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think that people that use Reddit for their sources, come on.
Yeah.
And so she tells him that she's pregnant. The girls all agree that they really need to support Whitney at this time. And,
and Whitney is salty because Taylor tried to steal her thunder with her pregnancy story right after she divulged to the girls her struggles with her husband.
Right.
So hence now we have the dueling.
Yes, right. But before that happens, we see Dakota and Taylor, they go out together. They go out to eat. And she says that, they're not going to share. They're not going to be swapping, soft swinging. They're not going to be doing any of that. And he says how beautiful she is and how much he loves her. And she asks him, do you want to marry me? And, he says, listen, you have to be sober when you're around me. As they're leaving, she literally says, I'm drinking tonight and I'm going to get effed up.
Yes, she does.
Those were the words out of her mouth. And then the next thing we see is the two putting their kids to bed, and then the 911 call for the domestic violence.
Yep, by a neighbor. They must have been.
The garage doors opening and closing. Then we see her talking to the Harriman police officer with the body cam footage. She says, he threw me in the garage. And he's like, yeah, because you were throwing things at me. And she's like, I peed myself. I was so afraid of him. And then the garage doors opening and closing. We don't know exactly what happened, because the next thing we see is the police officer saying, well, I'm arresting you for DV. And she's like, what? He goes, domestic violence. I need to handcuff you. Put your hands behind your back.
She never thought she was getting arrested. She did not think she was getting arrested. She was clearly very intoxicated, though. Clearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, this whole... Oh, go ahead, Wendy. Sorry.
I was going to say, then we see that Taylor, on the upcoming season, she says getting arrested was the worst time of her life, from the scandal to having a miscarriage to getting, arrested and being pregnant again. Of everything that's happened to her, being arrested was the worst thing that's happened to her. Which, yeah, I would think so.
One would think.
Yeah.
So to me, it just all screams Bravo-esque, overly produced drama off the back of a scandal. And I just think that's sad, especially for Taylor and Whitney. And, if that was me, I'd just stay home and shut the fuck up. And you know what I mean? I just think that that's sad to make.
Yeah, but we're living in a world. These people
making your money off of that.
Think these people become famous because of social media posts. So if they don't continue to post, then they're not famous anymore. And I don't even think they get addicted to the money. I think they get addicted to the fame.
But I'm just saying,
want to be famous.
but you're becoming famous for bad
The wrong
behavior.
reasons.
That's what
For
I'm saying.
sure.
That's what I think is sad.
100%.
Sad. And
But
like
I
you
don't
said,
think they at that point they can't see the difference and they don't care.
right. And they all look too much the same. Like
Yeah.
everybody's Rapunzel. I can't take the fucking extensions.
It's a lot of extensions.
And it's like it's giving like Handmaid's Tale with like the blue coats in the beginning instead of red coats. Did you guys
Yeah.
ever watch Handmaid's Tale?
I never did, but I know
They all have
I
to
never did.
They all have to wear these red coats. So in the opening scene of this new show, they're all holding hands wearing those blue coats.
It's
Yeah, that's what it's giving to me. It's like giving Handmaid's Tale. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I like the blue better than the red.
I did see something. Oh, come on, where'd it go? It was the funniest thing. And it was a picture of Whitney when she changed her hair to red. And it said, I couldn't figure out who she reminded me of. And then it hit me. Did you guys ever watch the movie The Help?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's, by the way, one of my top 5 books I've ever read. The Help.
Oh, he's so good. So good.
So good. Definitely top 5, maybe top 2. But anyway, and they said she reminds me of Hilly Holbrook, the redhead in The Help.
Yeah.
It's Bryce Dallas Howard. It's actually Ron Howard's daughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She took over, well, I won't even get into it, from Twilight. She took over the role of the one. But she does remind me of Hilly Holbrook. Personality,
that's interesting.
looks, everything.
Yeah. And it's funny because she really did look like a natural redhead. Like not everyone can pull that off.
I agree. I thought
she
the
really
red
did.
looked better than the blonde on her.
I did too. I thought the blonde washed her out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it washed her out. And I was thankful, one, that we have at least a redhead. Now we know who she is.
For sure. It is interesting that she and Taylor, are they the only two that aren't blonde now? I mean, Taylor's got the highlights, but she's pretty much a brunette.
Well, I think there's just one we haven't met yet who's a brunette.
Okay.
There's the one we haven't really met yet.
There's another one. I know,
awesome.
It's exhausting. So I think that the bottom line to ask is, will this show do anything to empowering for women?
I don't know that that's a question. I mean, it's not empowering women. Honestly, we're watching it because it's entertainment. And it's something to talk about. And it's something that happens. You know, the 20 and 30-year-olds, they really are into social media. They're very much into TikTok. Yeah. And it really, when they started, it was them dancing. It was just them dancing. That's how it started. And I used to love watching the people dance. Like we were watching the other one that we did with the dancing. The
M6.
Yeah, the M6, exactly. Yeah. Those were also started out the TikTok dancing.
They still come up on our TikTok.
Yeah.
So when I say that, I mean that from the perspective of, you know, I've watched a lot of social media stuff in regards to the show, and that's kind of the agenda that the girls from the show are trying to kind of push, is that there's such this push in the LDS community for everybody to be portrayed as perfect. And then there's this new generation of Mormon women like kind of breaking the mold, kind of saying that, you know, we can still be Mormons and not be perfect and all have flaws and make mistakes. That's what I mean when I say because that's kind of like what they're putting out as their kind of platform, is that they're kind of trying to, because of this whole scandal and the way things have gone, that's the positive they're trying to take from it, is that they're portraying young Mormon wives as something other than the prescribed perfect.
That personally, and I'm almost 3 drinks in, so I don't know if I said this already. I lined them up because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to go re-up. But listen, we've said this. You know, I have to.
You are a professional, Kelly.
I have to have a backup and a backup to my backup. So I'm all set over here.
And I just bring the whole bottle with me.
And I'm just going to mention this. It's only 40 minutes. We've
I know.
been on
and
for
I have to be at church
minutes.
at 9 o'clock tomorrow. But that's what I was going to say. Like we're we've said Wendy and I are Catholic, Lori is Lutheran. Like we're big parts of our church, all of us. I don't even know if I should say this as a CZD teacher, but there's a lot of things
Right.
with the Catholic Church I don't agree with. I
Right.
I believe in gay marriage. I am pro-choice. So I see what you're saying, Lord, that they're saying
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to kind of break the mold, and that's okay.
Right.
It's
I
okay.
just
Like
think that there's better ways to do it besides on the backs of a tacky swingers scandal.
well, the swingers thing agree with, because that's, to me, that's immoral. You're cheating on your spouse. So to me, that's immoral. However, the TikTok thing, the making the videos, that's the world we live in now. That is
Right.
this younger generation. We didn't grow up with it, but that's okay.
No.
Our kids did, and we can embrace it. That's how these kids want to make money, and some of them are very fortunate enough to do so. So God
Yes.
Right.
bless.
And then my last takeaway is, was whole thing manufactured as a whole?
I've
I
thought
don't think
about that.
so.
I've thought about it. That thought's crossed my
Listen,
mind.
I don't trust anything that I
That's why I
see
asked you
or
both when
hear
we first started
on
this, had you
TV.
ever seen them before? I never heard of this. I never saw it. This happened and was filmed 2 years ago. How have we, who follow Bravo and all reality TV, not heard of this? I thought the same thing, Laura.
Good, because I'm just a conspiracy theorist all the way now that I'm old. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, that's a pretty good setup. Like if,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Honestly, I think I think we didn't hear about it because one, the mom talk wouldn't have been in our algorithm, seriously, because it was,
Because we're too
20
old.
somethings. But yes, because it was young people dancing, right? And unless you're watching that, you're not going to keep getting that. And the stuff that we're looking at the Gen X stuff, so it's not going to show up. The other thing is, it was all over Reddit. Like, that's where it was all over. And I just got done saying, like, I'm not following Reddit. I'm not going to Reddit for any information. I
Me
don't even.
neither.
I honestly feel like if I go to Reddit, I'm going to get a virus. Like, I'm staying
Honestly,
away from
I
Reddit.
didn't think Reddit was a reliable source. Like when I Google something and Reddit comes up, I don't even go to that. I'm like,
Me neither. Me neither. But
yeah,
that generation does. That's what I'm saying
okay.
to you. Like, that generation uses Reddit as their, and I won't go near it either. Like, I will
Right.
not go
Yeah,
near
I'm
it
not.
because, like I said, I feel like I'm going to get a virus from it. Like, I just think
Yeah.
I'm not going near that. So I think that's why we have not seen this, because like I said, we are older. We are watching more mature things. And, that's not going to
Real
show up in our,
Housewives,
Yeah.
I mean, listen, that
Yeah,
is our
sure.
guilty pleasure.
for
But that
sure.
Jersey Shore, yeah. But
Yes,
that's not.
this week that
Yes,
comes on.
I know. I can't wait. But that's not going to show up for us on TikTok. It's not.
Right. Okay.
And
I
that's my
definitely-
thought. I don't
I
know.
definitely wasn't, I gotta say. Well, I'm not a big fan of reality TV anyway, so I was
No,
not,
really?
Come on. Yes, you
I
are.
was not a big fan when
love
I
this.
watched the first episode, and I was like, oh God, all right. But I understand that it is relevant for a lot of people. But even the whole thing, because you guys had me watch the Real Housewives of Salt Lake, so it really, prior to watching that, I really didn't have that much information in my noggin about Mormons and what their gig is.
Yeah.
So that is holding a little interest for me. But the small nuggets that I learn of Mormonism, I don't know if it's definitely worth my time to watch. I mean, I'm going to watch it because we're doing a podcast on it, but it's certainly not. It's not lighting my world on fire. I'll just say that. But it is interesting to see, like Mormonism. There was a lot of things that I watched. They were saying how a lot of it's more about the community, not just the church. So there's like a lot of incentive to play ball in the church so that you're accepted by the community. And then there's a lot of questioning between what the actual church guidelines are and then what is just the culture. So
Yeah.
that aspect I find interesting.
Well, listen, do yourself a favor. We talk about that podcast, Two Teas in a Pod.
Yeah.
If you go to that, there's a subset of that called Popping Off, and it's Teddy and Emily. Emily is a real housewife of Orange County and is married to Shane, who is a devout Mormon. Never took a sip of alcohol. So what they do is they recap this show, and then Emily has her husband watch it. And he kind of like, not really fact checks it,
He
gives
does,
his perspective. And and we love Emily and Shane. Shane's not on the podcast, but Emily will talk to him about it and then report back. So that to me, that motivates me to watch the show because I love Emily and Shane. So I want to hear Shane's perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good tip for any of our listeners as well.
Yeah.
Although we are not a big fan of Tamara, but we
Not
do.
right now.
No, but we do listen to her podcast when she has the right people on, and we love it when she's not on, when it's Teddy and Emily.
For sure.
Or even her husband, the two Eds. We love that podcast too.
Yeah.
And I don't listen to any podcasts, including our own.
Yes, that is so true, which drives me freaking crazy. Drives me crazy, Lori.
Yeah. Okay. So, Laura, start listening to ours, asshole, and then start listening to Popping Off.
I might give Popping Off a try.
We need the downloads, Laura. We need the downloads.
Exactly. Okay. Hey, all right, before we finish up, Wendy, did you see the promo picture for Potomac?
Oh, my God.
Did you see who's front and center?
Yes.
Mia?
Yes.
And when you're looking at the picture,
I didn't even recognize her at first.
Mia's
I had to zoom
front and center. Karen,
with that blonde
to the left. You don't even fucking know where Giselle is.
No,
I don't even know where Giselle is.
No, I saw me with that blonde.
Or
like
Ashley.
I said,
hey, how about this?
Well, I saw Ashley.
I don't even know who Giselle is. How about that?
Well, you know what? Potomac is coming out too. We didn't even mention that one the other day. I can't wait. I can't wait because Karen with the DUI. There's some big stuff going on in Potomac.
I totally forgot about that.
Karen had the DUI after they stopped filming last time. Yeah.
I'm very curious to see Giselle navigate this season without Robin. Wendy navigate the season without Candace. I'm curious because I'm a big fan of Wendy, Karen, and Candace. I was fans of them, not the Green-Eyed Monsters. But Mia sitting front and center, I thought, damn, she hasn't even been here that long.
When Mia, after the last reunion with her and her husband.
Yes, they were very honest and forthcoming.
100%. That really turned me on her. I really like her now. I really listen, I'm rooting for her. Mm-hmm. I'm rooting for her.
I do want to see G, though. I still want G to be on the show.
I think he will
to be like a Frank and Tanya situation. You can have your man, but we need G too.
I think we will see him. I think we will.
And I'm not curious about any of it.
I know you don't care. And did you see, it's not confirmed, but did you see Dr. Nicole is not coming back to Miami? She says it's not definite, but I think it is definite. Why would it come out?
I don't know, but I just hope that it was her decision and not Bravo's decision because
everyone loves her. Why would Bravo
everyone loves her? She is self-made woman. She is beyond wealthy. She's wealthier than any of them on the fucking show. Let's face it. Nobody can touch her money. And she's classy. So I hope that it was her who decided to walk away because she has a new baby and she's got a lot going on. And I hope it wasn't Bravo's decision because Bravo's making badass decisions lately. Not badass like you're great badass, like bad decisions. Like bad, you're not making good decisions. I think we're gonna have to hang up. I think I drank too much already.
Bad decisions. Like
I called Lori an asshole. Things are going
right. Things are going south.
All right. Well, until next time, thank you for watching and listening to We Why Whenever. Please subscribe, give us some 5-star reviews, tell your friends about it, and share us.
Yes, please.
Yeah, bye. Share us. Not in the soft swinging way, but share us.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. None of our husbands are on board with that. At all.
It's just too exhausting.
No shit. Okay.
Who's got time? No one's got time for that.
Nobody's got time for that.
Everything's too decrepit. You young girls will see one day.
Thank God that soft swinging shit came in after we were young.
No.
Yeah.
We're too old for that. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.